Okay, and then the first thing I'm going to do is draw a little outline here, and this represents where, if I was going to frame it, where my what my frame or my mat would cover up. You know, every time I don't do this, I regret it, so. Okay. So I'm looking through my viewfinder and trying to see kind of what big shapes can I see right away that I could start with. And it seems like maybe I could start with this shape, this angle of the shoreline coming across like that. And then there's going to be some of this big tree, and this house is in here. And then there's another tree, and they do sort of overlap there. And then the greenhouse goes behind the cream-colored house. Yeah, and you know what? I kind of made it all a little bigger than I really wanted it to be. So I'm just going to go back a minute because I do want to include this last little. So I'm thinking I'm going to come from this direction because I definitely wanted to have that last little shed in there. And the top of that shed is right about at my eye level. So that is going to be a horizontal line, and then the bottom of it is running uphill a little bit. So here's that little shed, that little white bush, some other junk. The tide is out, but I'm gonna bring the tide in right to the seawall. Here's those dark trees. There's another little shed back here. That's close enough to my eye level, I think. Here's the greenhouse and that awning that sticks out. Interesting. So this is above my eye level. So the returns on the roof appear to run downhill in that direction. And then the roof line appears to run downhill in that direction. Gonna have this big tree behind here. Another big tree in here. I am compressing things a little, so. And then the other tree. This tree just barely touches this tree, but I want to make sure that this tree in front overlaps that tree in the back a little bit. All right, so back here, that's that awning. That's also, the top of the awning is very close to my eye level. So this, and this are all very close to my eye level. Trying to just judge the proportions. I'm not gonna, this would take me forever if I do a ton of measuring, so I'm just not going to. Ginormous chimney. Remember, it's 2-point perspective because I'm not lined up with either side of the house. So all the horizontal lines on my right side here are going to appear to be running either down or up to the vanishing point. And the ones on this side of the house are going to be appearing to run down to the other vanishing point. And I'm just looking for things I can compare, like the end of the deck is lined up with the end of the awning. So that's something I can sort of check out. It might help me to start putting in like this big window, because then I can look at the, like make sure this proportion is right, how much building I have right there. And this building has the windows are at an angle over there, but you know what? I'm not going to try to draw that. I'm just going to make a flat, as if the building is just flat faced here and doesn't have these little side things, because that is going to be, yeah. And what I need to know now is, do I have my roof up too high? My roof, is it peaked too high? So I'm using my charcoal just to compare a straight line to this angle of the roof, and I think it is a little sharp angle. I'll just bring it down a little bit. And that means I have got to lower the chimney. All right, and so that's that fir tree back there. And then this tree, this deciduous tree that's in front. Okay, and that tree trunk, yeah, there's dormers, there's all kinds of things right there, but you know, see, I might just leave out some of that other stuff. The chimney comes down the side of the building too. And see, when I do that, I can see I don't really have enough space right there. So the chimney needs to move back some more. So that's why it's really a good thing not to finish stuff too much, because each new thing you put in gives you a different perspective, or a different things that you can use to make your drawing more accurate. Okay, and so then this house, so I want to see, where is the top of the cream house compared to the peak of the greenhouse? So if this is the peak of the greenhouse here, it's just a little lower. This is killing my arm. It's a funny angle. So try not to set up at funny angles to your paintings. And their deck, their front of their whatever that thing is lined up with the bottom of this. All right, well, I'll tell you what. It's not a perfect drawing. Oh yeah, and that tree doesn't come down that far because it's behind the fence. So here's the fence. Here's the bottom of that building. I need the top of the fence, which is maybe about right like that. Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to leave out that dock because that's more than I can manage at this moment. So there's this thing, there's this comes down, and then this part of the stone wall is a little lower, so I think that'll actually be kind of better. All right. That's the bottom of the fence. This is the slope of the grass. This is the top of the next rock wall. Top of the fence, bottom of the fence. Fence ends right about at the edge of the house. Is that true? Oh no, it ends even further in. so. Another thing I might probably do starting this is to draw where the windows are going to be, because that would help me get the proportions right. But that's just another thing I'm not going to really take the time to do right now. But placing your windows helps you know if you've got some of these things accurate. But I'm not going to take the time. All right, so I'm going to start my color, and I'm going to start with the sky. And it's a really bright blue day, so. I always like to start with the sky because it gives you the first big hint about what kind of day you're painting. And in this case, there are things in this painting that are lighter than the sky. But the sky, yeah, I just always start with the sky. Even when things are very light, like if I look without my glasses, the trees are very bright. But you know what? Even the house, which I thought was brighter than the sky, it might be. There's the top of the awning is brighter than the sky, and maybe this part of the roof right here. But mostly the land and everything, the vertical silhouette dark against the sky. Oh my God, I made that chimney so too tall. Oh, that's right, I lowered I forgot to change the drawing on the chimney when I changed the roof. Did I just knock it out of the picture? Okay. Okay, so now I've got my roof, and my sky, and now I think I'm going to come down and start working on the houses. And because I didn't draw the shadows, well, I'm going to start with this one, so that's okay. There aren't really shadows on that one. So, whoa. Okay, I was going to exaggerate, but I didn't really mean to exaggerate that much, so that was surprising. And I'm just not going to worry about all the other stuff on this house, the dormers, everything else. Not even sure where the roof ends back there, honestly. I think I have to redraw that chimney. Okay, and there's the chimney shadow. So the roof's going to come over a little bit more, like that. All right, and just want to knock that down a little bit. So then I can use that other color for the chimney and the light. So the things that make a sunny day, or your painting look like it's a sunny day, are a really blue sky, and that your lights are warm because they're lit up by the sun, and then your shadows are cooler because they're lit up by the sky. So the sky is lighting up all your shadows, and the sun is lighting up all your lights. And I didn't make that dark. Oop, I still didn't make that dark enough. And then the other thing is that nope. Okay, where did the darks go? I reorganized my pastel box, so now I'm suffering because of that. I decided I was just going to get all those soft pastels in one place and not have them all kind of scattered around throughout where I might just pick up anything at any moment. Okay, so I did a better job now. But you know, anything you do, it's okay, because you try it and then you respond to it. You don't have to know what you're doing. Thank goodness. Not to be an impressionist, to be some other kind of painter, you need to know what you're doing. But to be an impressionist, you do not need to know. So just a guess. And then the light side of the house is a warmer color. So I'm trying to simplify the whole business as much as I can. And I'm also trying to exaggerate. Well, I'm not exactly trying to exaggerate, honestly. It's more like I'm enjoying exaggerating. I don't know what I'm going to do about these windows, but I'm just going to do something for now. All right, and then I'm going to do my other building. Why am I doing the buildings first? I'm sort of asking myself and trying to have some sort of answer, and I think it's that I think the light and shadow is going to change on the buildings the most, and I just want to catch it Now in this building, I didn't draw the shadows, so I'm gonna start by putting them in. And that way, if I get them in the wrong spot, it won't really matter because when I come back over, I can put the light on top. So it doesn't matter if I get carried away or anything here and get too much shadow. And then actually the light side is very much like the paper. Yeah, up here is where it seems like it's the brightest. Well, I'll just go with that. Of course, it'd really be great if I had the windows drawn in because then I would be able to see where the lights go better. Well, why didn't I draw them in? It's like a moment of laziness or something. I'm not sure. But I'm going to draw them in right now. Actually, I think it was just my arm hurt so bad from this weird angle I'm at. I just couldn't draw anymore. And I'm doing it with charcoal. I was tempted, I'll admit it, I was tempted to grab my dark blue pastel and start drawing the windows, but this way, if I don't get it right, it's just like that. It's not, that wasn't right, so I could just kind of wipe it out. And luckily, the windows are not, I mean, up here on the second floor, they're symmetrical, but they weren't really symmetrical down below, so I didn't have to worry. I just need to see that they start lined up with the return of the roof and not let them get too big. Okay, something like that. And when I don't want to have to work with the tip, I just have to break off another piece. I just wanted to put this fence in one long line like that. Hey, Jim, do you think you can tell me when it's been an hour?
In 25 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Holy cow. Okay. All right. And then on the stone wall, there's a couple of different ways I could do that. I think. What are you? Just going to start it a little darker than I planned for it to end up. So it's, and then I'll put the lighter rocks in. So this is the stone, the seawall here. And then I've got this nice grassy business coming down here. So leaving out like, what, 25 chairs or something over there. Okay, and bushes. Or not what I wanted. Okay, and that side of the building is really dark. This little building. And then we got this little building here, also going to be really dark. Trees, but you're not drawn in exactly the right spot. Oh, and I have a really red roof on these guys. So once you've got your shadows drawn in, you have to be careful not to like chase shadows like on your houses, because they're going to move all the time. So don't think that you can't work any longer because the shadows on the houses have moved. It's like when there's a change in the quality of the light that that you can't work longer on a painting. But you want to be, like for me, it's about 2 hours outdoors at a time. And then if I want to work on it more, I've got to come back at the same time of day, the same light situation, and work on it again. So there's just too big a light change after 2 hours. Right, that does not look like a shadow. So, you know, maybe I need to add more blue to that shadow on the roof. These horizontal shadows are where you would expect to see the most skylight coming down onto them. Oh, look at that. Oh, no, I don't have that side of my building. Okay, so I don't have that other side of the building. And then one thing I really wanted to do was this bush, of course. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some white flowers on it. Like that. And there's red tulips too, so. You know, just a few little flowers here and there are not enough to make a composition. So when you're planning what you're going to paint, the flowers are like that. Those little things are kind of incidental. I just thought they would be sort of nice touches in the painting, so that's why I wanted to have them in there. But you can't plan a composition around that. Okay, and the other roof over here is kind of a reddish purple, I think. So I'm just going to try that. All right, and the water. Okay, so I usually try to do with my water is just start it really dark. And I said I was going to bring the tide up to the seawall. And I haven't done these other trees yet. And it can't be all that. The darks are a problem in pastel, that there aren't enough of them. And so I can't be quite as fussy as I might like. So I'm starting the trees up here with the dark blue, and then I'll come back. I'll come back with some other colors. And I really have found with time here that it really helps to start your trees dark and then add the lights in later. And that way you have what looks like deep down under deep places that are far away from you. The trunks are far away from me compared to the outside edge of the leaves. So I want to be pulling the leaves forward all the time and keeping the dark under places dark and under, not on top. So if I have to come back because I let things get too much light in there, then I'll come back and I'll put the darks in again, restate the darks, but then I'll have to come back again and do the lights on top. Let's see if this is that's kind of good, kind of springy. You can try to think of your trees as cubes. That can help you too, because then the cubes, you've got a side, like what we're seeing all the time on the tree is we're seeing side planes and we're seeing bottom planes. So these darks are the bottom planes of the clumps of leaves that we're seeing. And we can't really see any of the top planes. Another thing you can kind of think about your trees is a little bit like a face with different areas coming out into the light. What are you? You don't belong there. All right, so this is going to be the light on my tree. And I'm trying to pay attention to where it goes. All right, then we got some other green stuff in there. Oh, golly, that is not a green. Not even close. And I'm going to leave out whatever that is. I do not know. Oh, look at that. Brought the building out too far. Okay. Okay, so back to the water, put some more green in there. green. All right, so I'm going to try to make some of the colors better. I'm going to start with the sky and restate some of my sky holes. Make sure I have that all covered, the paper all covered. Trying to see. Suffer repay when you don't draw it right. Now it looks like a funny, skinny cypress tree. So one thing that's kind of nice about starting things so wacky is in a way it's kind of easier to make them better because they're so wrong. And all I'm doing is it's like, okay, it's blue, but I think I made it too blue. I'm going to try adding some violet to it. The first one I tried was too light. Ooh, look at that. That is bad. I made that tree. I got confused right there, so let me try to fix that. This is really the roof, not the tree. Yeah, and I got just too much going on over here in this roof situation and the tree and the dormers. And I left out everything I thought I could, but I'm still feeling confused. So I'm gonna have to, oh, this line is wrong up here. That's another problem. And let's just put more tree in because that would solve my problem right there. Okay. I need to get more stuff in the water before I spray it. Yeah, I'm a little confused about the whole watering situation because I left out the dock and so I see reflections, but the things, I want to be careful not to put in reflections of things that I don't actually have in my picture. Yeah, has it been an hour? 41 minutes. Okay. Okay, I gotta do something about these blue things at the side of the building, and that was way too light. That's better. And I need more light on that tree. And I know that's too light, but okay. And I just want to draw the windows under this awning. Holy cow, I don't think that's a flat thing either under there, but I'm just going to make it flat. It's just too hard. Oh, look, and now I see I have way too much space right here. But I maybe bring the awning down a tiny bit. Don't really want to bring the fence up. So. However, I did notice that my fence, or my deck fence, lie a little bit there too.
That's 45.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna spray it when I get to an hour, and then see if I can work on the whole thing one more time before. Oh my gosh. The awning is retracting. Honestly, I thought for a minute there, I've lost my mind. How could I have made such a horrible drawing mistake?
Leave it, John.
I'm just gonna leave it because I kind of liked it, and that's so funny. It's very pesky when you're out in the nature. It's really funny. All right, well, I didn't draw these trees in the right place, so I'm just gonna join them up a little bit and not worry about it because I can't stand this one looking so skinny. I'm just gonna put it behind the house a little more, like that. And let's see, I need to do something to separate that building. And that, I'm gonna tell you, is not it. And I changed some of the drawing here compared to what it really is, just so that the decking won't just be exactly the same height as that fence that's in front. And I'm just trying to get a second color everywhere before I spray it. God, something about that roof over there. So I made it really purple, but I also think it looks a little bit pinker than that. So I'm just going to try some pink. Like that. Yeah, I wonder if I could try pink here too. Hate that fence. Okay.